Hey, everybody, welcome to a new UCCC special. And of course, we continue the celebration of the GeekFest at Home Comic Con Film Fest starting this Thursday. For the price of $2.99, you're going to have a plethora of films to choose from that will keep you totally entertained. Now, today, and right now, I have what's probably one of my favorite movies in the GeekFest Film Fest. The director behind this film, it's fantastic. It has a strong message. And before we even get into it, I mean, you already see the title. It's Balloon, right? But let's take a look at Balloon and what a dope movie it really is. And then we're going to meet the director behind this fantastic film, Jeremy Merrifield. So bear with me just one sec and check out this amazing trailer.
Bang! Bang! Like escape, huh? He is dead.
Oh, Sammy, that eye. Mom, hold it right there. Okay, I'm sending it to you now.
Some kid hit him.
That's boys for you.
If you say one word, I'll kill you. You hear me? Huh?
School shooters often waiting outside to pick you off as you try to escape.
Sam, this isn't like you.
I'm fine. You gotta hit back.
Yo, Wheeler, what'd you tell her? Because if you say one word, I'll end you.
Just wow, right? Just wow, great job. That intro alone makes you go through an emotional roller coaster. Folks, meet the man behind this amazing film, writer, director, Jeremy Merrifield. Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Thank you for having me.
No, this is such a wonderful film, man. Once I saw this film from the Geek Fest, I was like, oh, man, I got to talk to Jeremy. It has a deep message, hits close to home, because I'm a anti-bullying type person. I'm not into that. And the message was strong. The emotions, the Sam, wow, this kid can act, son.
Yeah,
Intense. You felt for him. Let's get into the origins of the story of Balloon. When did this baby come into your mind?
it kind of came into my head of kind of like at a moment in time where I watched my 12-year-old nephew going into middle school, and he was the sort of light of a kid, just always smiling, so much fun, and I could start to see him like grit his jaw a little bit, his light sort of dim, and I kind of remembered my experience growing up, and what middle school was like, and how what is expected of us as men at that moment, and how that changes us. And I was a bullied kid. I was always moving. We moved a lot growing up, and I ended up in a lot of different places. So I was always kind of the outsider, and it's about being a kid who kind of doesn't fit in, kind of on the outside, and then therefore becomes a target because of that. And at the same time that this kind of came into my mind, there was a lot of things happening in the news. Harvey Weinstein was one of them. Bill Cosby.
And he jokes about that stuff too.
Yeah.
From where he's at. He's
yeah. Even Tom Brady, who got caught cheating at the Super Bowl. He didn't directly, but he knew about it and he didn't do anything. And I think the thing is that what was our idea of a hero? These are people that are role models, that are people we're supposed to look up to, and the only people we really have to look up to are superheroes in some ways. They're the only heroes we really have, and they're not even real. So they're an idea, and I thought maybe we could tell a story that might inspire young people today with a character, a young person who wants to do the right thing. Even though they may not know how, how would they navigate the world as it is today and try to do the right thing?
Yeah, let me tell you, there was that scene when he comes home from school and he sits down on the sofa with his phone and he's playing this thing loud. And instead of them asking his parents, what's going on there? What's all that about? The father's completely zoned out And the mom is like gossiping. I'm like, come on, like be attentive to your kid. Something's wrong. This kid looks angry, hurt. I mean, do you know someone in that particular field, or is this really kind of your personal experience that you feel that, type of?
Yeah, a lot of the things in the film come from stories that we heard. I mean, I did a lot of research interviewing young people and talking to them. Yeah, I had my own experience, but mine, it happened some years back. We won't talk about how many years back, but it happened some years back. And I thought, well, what is it like today? And I was hearing things like, well, it's not like it was when you were growing up. Bullying isn't an issue anymore. It's not the same kind of thing. And when I talked to kids, I found out not only was it an issue, but it was worse. It was, now it happens on social media, obviously. And I think even this gun violence problem that we're seeing in our country, so often, we talk about gun control. We talk about things to deal with the guns, but the thing is the guns aren't pulling the triggers. It's boys. It's never girls. Mm-hmm. It's always a boy. So we have to talk about how we're raising our boys and why they would want to walk into a classroom with a weapon that would make them feel empowered. And I think that's the whole movie. It's like, what is power? What is superpower? What is it to be a superman? Like, how can you really be a good man? And what is your idea of power versus empowerment? Like, what does that look? Those are two different sides of it. Like when in the film, when he flies, he has this sort of vulnerability and lightness about him that kind of like doesn't try to grit and control the world, and that gives him the ability to soar. And when he tries to control something or punch something, he breaks things. And I think it's just kind of two different ideas of the way power can go.
That is awesome and very true, because you could tell that, after a certain scene when we headed towards the end, where he takes that moment, almost a reflective moment, and in that moment where he's reflecting, he goes up like a balloon. I mean, that was powerful, because then you see other scenes where he's angry and you see him almost be able to control that power. He knows he can. Yeah. So he knows he has that power, but what does he do with it? Let me tell you, he's a better kid than I would have been.
No, I think me too, actually. I was like, I really want him to be a good kid, but I mean, I think, I really don't like it when I see movies kind of like try to push a message and like we go, oh, this is what it's supposed to. I just want to be entertained. And at some point in the movie, I was like, I don't think he's gonna make the right call, and I don't think we can force this character to do something that we want just because we want him to do it. But I think that social media moment where he like looks around and he realizes all of these cameras are now pointed on him. He was made fun of for this video that he was in, and now he's about to do it to this kid. I think that was the one moment he needed to sort of break out and do the right thing. And I think that was a good find in the story, because we could believe that and he could still do the right thing. And he could be a better person than maybe you or I would have been.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful, because I'm staring down like, wow, man, because it would have been tough for me to not want to after that pain that he went through. I mean, that's not right. I mean, even his own mama is embarrassing him in the kitchen. Come over here, let me take a picture of that. Hey, did you get it? Did you get it? I'm like, really? You got to show this to people? I mean, don't you? How about how I feel?
It's an Instagram millennial mom. It's a different generation. It's interesting how the moms are. I think she means well as a mom. She knows not what she does. But I think that's how so often we hurt other people. We know not what we do. We accidentally do it, and that's.
Yep. And that example could go to what was his friend, so-called friend. You see the moment where he kind of wants to stand up for him, but I guess he's in the middle of this societal thing where, okay, do I hang out with the cool kids, or am I going to hang out with the weak kid, like they kind of making him feel. And I like how Sam at the end, when this kid just came up to, oh man, that was cool. Like, now you want to like holla, when I needed you, you weren't there. I mean, and that happens nowadays a lot. Unfortunately, some kids just step to the side and allow things.
It's so true. And I love comic books. I grew up reading them and absorbing that material. And I feel like comic books have become about how we can punch through our problems. But the comic books that I remember growing up with were so inspiring. Sometimes they might have had to rely on those classic sort of more physical strength situations, but more often than not, it was about, would they do the right thing in the moment? And I think that's what's going on with that best friend too. It's like, those moments go by all of us so quickly, right? We we want to think we're going to do the right thing. We want to believe we're going to stand up for the thing. But the thing is that moment goes by in a blink and you didn't necessarily do the right thing. And I know I've failed at rising up and doing the right thing in the right moment. And I always try to hold myself to that standard. And I think that's what that character is about. It's like, it's so easy not to say something when it needs to be said, but you gotta say something.
Yeah, you definitely do. There are those times. I mean, I know in junior high school many years ago, I would see a kid get bullied. I was sitting next to the bullied kid and then watch the bully. It's like, you got something to do now,
Yeah.
And sometimes they were picking on kids that I grew up with that I knew just because they were a little smaller. I'm not saying I'm the biggest man in the world, but I was a little bigger than them, So I won't allow nobody to go ahead and pick on them in front of me. Absolutely not. So I would wish that kids are more like that, or even a kid like Sam. I mean, for him to, again, reflect and take that moment and not do what we probably would have done. So it's his strength. Now, I was also reading that, was there a script to this or was it a lot of ad-libbing? Because it looks like there was some liberties there with the actors.
So I had never worked with kids before. I really like kids. I'm the kind of guy that like goes to the family like Christmas event and I'm sitting on the recliner and I've like ignored all the kids and the kids kind of come start to climb on me like I'm a gymnasium and there's the dogs, all the pets too. Like I thought I might be good at this, but I wasn't sure. But one thing I knew that I was really worried about was if we give the script to a kid, they're gonna take that home and then their parents or whoever they normally work with to get their script are going to rehearse it with them. And I thought it would get really over rehearsed. And I didn't know because I couldn't audition the parents. I auditioned the kids. So I decided to write a script. I actually did a new draft of the script where the dialogue was more about what was going on internally than what they would actually say externally. So it kind of mapped the emotion of the scene, but it didn't necessarily, it wasn't what they would actually get to say. You don't really say, like when you really want to say, I love you, sometimes you don't say, I love you. When you really want to say, you matter to me, you don't say it. So I wrote those kinds of lines in the script and that's what they came to set with. And I would ask them, I was like, would you say this? Would you get to say this? And they're like, no. And then, so we kind of would work through the script kind of like, just kind of tightening up what they would actually get to say. And because we had such great actors, I mean, we had an amazing cast, that worked really well for us. It sort of allowed them to find things on the day. And there were some ad libs. I would say most of it was in the script. It was just a matter of like trimming things out that we didn't want them to say, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you, talking about actors, when we opened up with Paul Scheer as Officer Hart, man, loud, obnoxious. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was. I always wanted a good comic actor for that role. I thought it's so absurd and darkly funny that we even have active shooter training drills in our school.
Insane, because the poor kid goes out the gym, but bang, you're dead. Everybody, he's dead. And then the stupid bully, ha type, like Nelson, ha.
Yeah, exactly. That's based on a true story. I heard that story. Like that's
really?
They go through in the schools, make bang, 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 bang. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow. I never went through that. That's probably dating me, but yeah, I never went through that.
Yeah, me neither. That's nuts.
I mean, at least during my last year of high school, that's when first time they put metal detectors in school.
Yeah.
At least where we were from.
Yeah. I remember metal detectors in our school as well. But like that was like new. That was like, yeah. And I still think a lot of schools had never had that. I think it's really a matter of, I think, now you have like, suburbia with the metal detectors and, random searches and security cameras. And it's like almost like the incarceration.
That random search was real in the mornings back in Brooklyn, let me tell you. They would just pick, God forbid you had one of those hats that had the leaves back then, if you know what I'm talking about, because it was the trade days and it was, that leaf was an old fashioned. If you came in school with that hat, all of a sudden it's like, yo, go to the side, we got to check your bag.
Exactly. Profiled like that. Exactly.
I'm like, yo, I work in produce. It's a maple leaf or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like more and more our schools are turned into reflections of the way our prison system. Like we think, like you drop your kids off for the day while you go to work and they're in like these little penitentiaries and like.
The only thing that's missing is the barbed wire on the fences.
Yeah, exactly. I think there might be even now later. You can't get in.
I wouldn't pass it probably in the Bronx, maybe for sure.
Yeah.
The Bronx Zoo out there. But this film is really amazing. And is there anything else you're going to be working on? Are you even working on possibly a sequel to this Balloon? Because I want to know more about what happens to him and how he deals with this onset of powers. I mean, it's so different, you know. And is this a greater universe? Come on.
For sure, yeah. So Balloon is part of. I have a feature film that I really want to make, and Balloon is a sort of an exploration of a part of that film. And that film is called Spirit Week, and it at least right now it's called that. And it's a story about a kid who's surviving Spirit Week at his junior senior high school, basically, where Spirit Week is that bizarre American ritual leading up to the homecoming game, where every day is a themed day. You have like superhero day, and you have meme day, and gender bender day, and all these it kind of feels like Lord of the Flies at school. And so that's the story. And he's realizing he has superpowers, and he's trying to figure out how to be a good person inside of this crazy world that we've handed over to our kids, and can he do the right thing? What does it mean to be a Superman is the big question. And this has gotten such a great response that now there's conversation about a series that's now been inspired about it, where it's an ensemble of young people sort of finding they have abilities and what they will do with that power when they are inheriting the world that we've made and that we've given them. So.
I love it, man. I'm all for the world of Balloon, man. For real. I'm ready. I am ready for this. Because seriously, and even how the presentation of powers, we don't get explanations in none of this. You're left with so many questions also. Like, is he the only one? Is there more?
Right.
It's like so wonderful.
I feel like if you got superpowers, you may not ever know how you got them. Like, you would be like, if you got bit by a spider, for example, that's like, would you know? Like, would you realize, oh, this is how you would just all of a sudden be like, holy crap, what's happening to my body?
Yeah, I'm really not going to say, I don't care how I got them. Holy crap, I got powers.
Exactly.
Although the government's going to ask, and when did this start? So now I'm going to be an experiment. Let me start running for my life.
Exactly right. It's like, it's all about different power structures. You have power, and then the power that be you will want that power. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, I want people to really check out this amazing film that is Balloon. It's going to be at the GeekFest Film at Home Comic-Con Film Fest this week, and it starts Thursday. Now, hang on for a minute, because I want to show people the little teaser for the GeekFest for this coming weekend, so hang tight. Man, that is sweet, man. Nice. Bill Lowe knows how to put together a little video, don't he?
Yes, he does. Nice.
Right? Awesome. Really looking forward to this. Again, it's only $2.99. I was joking in a prior podcast. A homeless man asked me for $5. They usually ask for a quarter. So this is cheaper than you giving a homeless man money. You know what I mean? And you have a weekend of entertainment.
Amazing.
This is fantastic. So, Jeremy, is that correct at the bottom? Can they follow you at Jeremy Directs on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook?
That's right.
And do you have a website or anything else where we could keep up for more Jeremy Merrifield?
Yeah, JeremyMerrifield.com will take you to actually take you to my production company, Dream 3, and you can see our projects and our future projects and what we got cooking.
I cannot wait. Folks, make sure to follow Jeremy, show support for Balloon at this weekend's, at home Comic-Con Film Fest, powered by It's a Short and us over at Comic Crusaders. So very excited. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about a Balloon. I definitely want you back, especially as that world of yours grows, because it is going to be exciting. And I hope that, you continue much success, because again, Balloon is such a powerful movie. It had me on an emotional roller coaster. I smiled, I got angry, I was happy, I was perplexed, like, you're a better dude than me. So thank you again for joining us today. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. And don't forget, follow Jeremy, follow Comic Crew, It's a Short, follow GeekFest this weekend, $2.99. Let's do it. Wepa. I'm out.
Thank you.